Hello and welcome to Healing Universe. In this video, I wanted to take a little time to explain to you what's happening, coming up for you in the end of the month of January 2019. We have eclipses this year. This is a big eclipse year. We have 6 of them, and I wanted to really make sure that I go over each and every one of these as we're approaching them so that you will feel that you have a grasp and understand how to use this energy in your life. So thank you for patronizing Healing Universe. Thank you for ordering consultations. Thank you for coming to share your life, your career, your romance, your dating, your marriages, your finances, your spiritual questions, your desires to learn your purpose and to fully explore it and to live out your purpose. Thank you for all of your questions. I have been so glad over the last 2 decades to serve so many thousands of you. So let me kind of get into here. We have a this is the second eclipse that is coming up. It's going to be very meaningful. Oh, and let me just step back and say, if you haven't, subscribe to this channel and be sure to go to healinguniverse.com and sign up there on the newsletter list so that you can get all the updates and messages and things like that. Okay? I want to make sure that you get the full treatment. And remember, you can always order a private consultation. You just order it 30 minutes if it's like a transit or an eclipse or something like that. There's actually an eclipse one there, and then I will know you want to talk about that in relation to yourself and relation to your particular chart. Any other kinds of transits, just order a transit report, a transit consultation, and that's 30 minutes. Take 60 minutes if you have more than one kind of area that you really want to deal with, and 60 minutes if you want to do your first ever consultation, then that will take us an hour's time. If it's a business one, order a career consultation that talks about career and business, and we'll go over your specific things to help you to make the most profit and achieve your goals in terms of business. So now let's get into this eclipse, second eclipse. This is going to be a full moon, therefore a lunar eclipse. It's going to happen late on Sunday, January 20th, early on Monday, January 21st, 2019. It's in the 1st degree of Leo. Okay, this is a total lunar eclipse. All right, and this is very affected by the planet Uranus. There's a challenging square aspect to this. You've got Uranus is about sudden shocks and changes, rebellion, radicality, revolution, innovation, reinvention, uncertainty, shakeups. But it's also the planet of opportunity, okay? Because unexpected news and unexpected events, while they may cause anxiety and uncertainty about not only the present but the future, you know, and you may feel rushed and like you've got to push and things are hectic and stressful. It's an opportunity for some transformation and change. So this lunar eclipse, it is happening at a time when the sun is going to get a lot of confidence and courage in this opportunity. So the sun wants you to accept change. The sun embraces. So the sun here, this is, remember, this is a lunar. So this is the sun and the moon are both in the same sign, not opposite signs. So everything is aligning here. So you need to have an open mind. You need to be willing to exercise self-control, have some patience, and just be able to adapt to the changes so that you can take advantage of all the new opportunities that are coming your way. You know, when a lunar eclipse happens, it's a lunar eclipse, which is a full moon. It's a bigger full moon, okay? It carries more weight. It has heavier impact on your intimate relationships, your home and your family because it's lunar, it's feminine energy. So it affects your emotions too. And this total lunar eclipse is going to be even stronger influence on your private life, okay? You've got emotions and instincts, intuition are really at a peak, okay? Are just really at a peak. So what you've got here, how do I want to explain this to you? The moon is going to square Uranus. So that's where the real challenge comes in here, okay? So Mercury is only going to be about 6 degrees from the sun. And the moon square Uranus is really going to cause some rapid fire mood swings, is what I'm going to say. People may want to act impulsively. You may want to act impulsively. Maybe you'll be anxious and nervous and jumpy, not have a lot of patience for things that require you to commit your focus to it and things like that. If you feel that someone is trying to hold you back or tie you down or force you to do something, you're going to want to rebel and say, hey, I'm me, I'm unique, I don't want this, I don't need this, don't hold me back. And you don't really want to make sudden changes at this eclipse, especially when it comes to people who mean something to you emotionally, emotional relationships. You really don't want to do that. What you really want to do is understand that it is a temporary, it's like you're getting on a roller coaster ride. You get on the ride and you go, and you're on the ride, you enjoy the ride, and then you come back from the ride. And it's temporary. It's not something that goes on and on and on and on and on. So you might experience emotional outbursts. You might want to give an emotional outburst, and that won't really be appropriate, and it won't really work out well for you. Now, the other challenging aspect here, you've got Mercury square Uranus, and that can cause nervous tension, especially in the mind, around communication, around your thoughts. Whereas the moon is about the emotions, Mercury is more about the mind. It's about communication. Also, it's about transportation, travel. So you need to be really careful about quick, sudden movements. Watch your driving. Take your time, okay? With this being right at the beginning of Leo, if you know your chart, look in your chart and see. So where does Leo start for you? Whatever house that is in, this is where you're going to experience these sudden changes, these jolts. But the thing is, this is also energy where the opportunity is going to come from unique thinking. The opportunity is going to come from innovation. The opportunity is going to come from radicality, from revolution. So you don't have to blow up and explode about things. Think about things and think about, how can I now do something differently now that that thing is closed? Because full moons actually signify the culmination, the fullness of things. So something comes to an end, wherever that is occurring, whatever house that is for you. So something comes to an end. What is the new opportunity? What is the very different, unique way? How can you take this and make this into something where you can put your name on it, you can put your mark on it? How do you make some changes here at this lunar eclipse that are going to help you to be a new person, start a new thing, move forth in a new way? Let's see, if you're looking at if it's occurring, I'm going to go house by house for you, just to give you some examples. Throat's a little dry here, and I forgot my water today. Just to give you a little hint, let's see, of what this could look like for you, in terms of if it hits your first house. Okay, so if this hits your first house, definitely the start of something new. And remember, Leo is about me. Me. Okay? So when you've got it, sorry, and earlier, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I said something incorrect. When you have a new moon, like we had at the solar eclipse, that is about the sun and the moon being in the same sign. When you have a full moon, this is about the sun and the moon being opposite. So here you've got the moon is in Leo, and the sun is in Aquarius. Okay. So when you've got this kind of energy that's happening in your first house, so let's say your first house is Aries, or whatever, just say what's happening in your first house. So when you have an eclipse that's happening in your first house, this is basically going to talk about, it is about me. The energy is about, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so thirsty. If the eclipse is hitting you, in your first house, it's your first and seventh house axis, and you're really being asked to strike a balance here, because it's all about balance. Even a blend, to strike a balance that is more of a blend between relationship and self. Okay. Hi, I don't know if you saw I had to take a little pause there and get some water. Okay, so I was talking about if an eclipse hits your first house or your seventh house. If this is your first or seventh house axis, you're talking about me versus us, me versus we. Okay, so when this eclipse stimulates that area, you're being called on to strike a beautiful blend between yourself and relationship. And in Leo, this is really, we're talking about Leo and Aquarius, we're talking about confidence and independence and personal courage, and we're talking about things that have to in marriage, business relationships, those kinds of connections. Those are the kinds of things that we're talking about. When you move on to your and remember also that for first and seventh house axis, you're talking about things. It could be open enemies, by the way. It could be open enemies, business partners, marriage partners, versus you and your needs and what you want, and having the courage to stand up and stand for yourself and be your own unique self. And how are you going to blend that with this connection you have with this other person? Let's move on to the second and eighth houses. The second and the eighth houses are about getting that beautiful blend between security and stability, and your needs for security and stability, and someone else's needs of security and stability. And this can involve the sharing of anything from money to your bodies via sex. And this is with someone who's fairly significant to you. This could be about issues of death or loans, taxes, anything with money, sexuality, possessions, these shared resources versus your resources. Okay, so each of you may want your own resources, and it may be about finding out how to blend those, or how you're working on that blend you've already gotten together. When you're talking about an eclipse that strikes in the first or the eighth house, that because where the eclipse arrives, where the eclipse occurs, it is affecting the opposite house. So the first and the seventh, and the second and the eighth, and now the third and the ninth axis. That's about your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, learning, sharing knowledge, long distance travel, short distance travel, your car, flying on an airplane, taking a cruise. It's about the law. It's about justice. humanitarianism, higher education, foreign cultures, learning. And in this, you've got to learn to communicate better with one another in this 3rd to 9th house axis and deal with these issues. And it might be you have to depend on the other person to get from point A to point B, or maybe they have to depend on you to get from point A to point B. It might be taking charge of your own mobility. Maybe there's something where your mobility is limited and now you have to learn to change that to give yourself more. There may be an opportunity for more possibilities there. Who knows? All of this is up for change. There's opportunity. As something gets cut off, then something else is opening up. It's telling you for something else to open up. So then let's move on. What if it is your 4th to 10th house axis? If it's occurring in your 4th house or your 10th house, then you're talking about issues of home and family and the seat of you and your private life versus your public life, your name, your reputation, and your career. So these two things, your domestic scene and then your public scene, these things, people, you know, have distinct lines. This is my private life and this is my public life. You're going to have to find the balance here. Maybe too much is being spent in the public and not enough in the private, or too much in the private and not really getting out into the public. Have you shut yourself off from your family? Has your partner wanted to make you shut yourself off from your family and your friends? You're not seeing them as much. Is the career taking too much precedence? Are you not showing up for dinner every night? Because you're going to regret that in 10, 20, 30 years, if you even get to stay married that long, never being, you know, or rarely being home for dinner and not making it a regular practice. And if your kids don't get to know you because your work is more important than anything else. So that's your 4th to 10th house axis. And you also want to watch your name and reputation there. What are you putting out? How are you putting yourself out? Who are you associating with? Because you don't want disreputable people around you, and you also don't want to be in situations where your name and reputation can be harmed. Okay, you want to really have everything ethical and above board. Now, what if it occurs in your 5th to 11th house axis? Well, there you've got basically 5th. You've got your creativity and your togetherness with others. Perhaps might be a little bit challenged there, because 5th house is normally, this is about your creativity, it's about your children, it's about children, it's about taking risks, it's about gambling. The 11th house is your groups and associations, your friendships. Okay, so community, and then you've got brotherly love, let's kind of say. So you've got true friendships, and then you've got, okay, is this where you might want to jump in and be having some sort of friends with benefits things? So that's actually a perfect analogy there. See, the 11th house is being friends, true friends, brotherly love in the community, and then 5th house is wanting to have friends with benefits, okay? Mix in some sex there, see what little thing you can get going there. Well, you need to weigh that out. How's that going to work for you in the end, okay? And especially your creativity. If this is occurring, I want to say in your 5th house, let your creativity flow. Take it where it goes. Let it go where it will, okay? This is where all these unique and different ideas and ways to not exactly reinvent the wheel, but to make a better wheel are going to come up, and you've got the idea. You need to go for it. Don't let anyone push it out of your head, okay? And what you need is supportive friends from the 11th house who are going to say, okay, yeah, go for it. I mean, unless it's some obviously very dangerous thing for you to do that you should take no risk for, and maybe they say, okay, no, we don't, that risk, nah. But yeah, okay, you want to make a green cow that produces purple cheese? Okay, fine, yeah, hey, go for it. We'll support that invention. And finally, your 6th and 12th house axis. If an eclipse occurs, if this lunar eclipse occurs in your 6th to 12th house axis, you're talking about 6th house of work and service and your health. That's your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. Okay. This is all coming into focus. You have to deal with the day-to-day. You need to get organized. Make sure you're taking the pills and doing the exercises and eating right and following the regimen. There's no more escaping. If an eclipse occurs there in your 6th house, it's the warning to get it right and get it right now, or you are going to have some terrible, terrible problems you don't want. That's chronic disease, or sometimes it could be death. If you don't follow, if the eclipse hits there, get it right, get it straight, pull your life together. As I say to my clients that you need to get organized, get up and make your bed and shower and go exercise and eat right and get yourself together. Schedule your day. Opposite that is your 12th house, and this is really the house of self-undoing to some, or self-sabotage. It's the house of spirituality. It's the places where we get locked up, like jails, prisons, mental institutions, hospitals. Okay, so if you don't, this is telling you if it's occurring there, you got to strike that balance so that you get the help that you need. Maybe you need to go to therapy. An eclipse occurring in your 6th house can also mean that you need to do the 12th house therapy thing. Okay, so you can increase in your spiritual life. You get spiritual growth, spiritual compassion. So it's about coming into a beautiful blend there where you're doing the things you need to do in the practical, so that you can take practical and physical, so that you can take care of your mental and spiritual. Take care of the practical and physical and the mental and spiritual. Okay, so it's really, both houses are about health, but different aspects of health. So this is what an eclipse will bring: opportunities. It'll close doors. This full moon lunar eclipse in Leo is going to close doors. It's going to close doors on some things where maybe your ego was too big, or you were too much in something that wasn't really beneficial for you, and the doors are going to close, but the doors are going to open for something else. The doors are going to close where you were not putting yourself out there and you should have, and they're going to close to make you stand out. It's like getting shoved down on the stage, okay? Because you need to do that, or maybe it'll push you to be more a part of the we that you are a part of, the relationship you are in connection with the person. You're going to find that for example, if it had occurred in the 7th house, again, the eclipse is going to make you say, okay, I need to consider that the other person also has needs, and that we are trying to work together. So everything is about a beautiful blend in some kind of a way. So when the eclipse occurs, this full moon, total lunar eclipse in the sign of Leo, have the courage to step forth, reinvent yourself if necessary, innovate, reinvent. Love Madonna for that purpose, and she is a Leo. This eclipse is for you to do that. So that's what eclipse energy is going to be like for us when we're coming up here at the end of the month on the 20th for some, January 20th for some, January 21st for others. That's what's happening at this full moon total lunar eclipse. And I hope that you will take this energy, take this heads up. If you need to order a transit report for other transits, do that. But order the eclipse consultation and have an eclipse consultation with me so we can really look at your specific. It'll be a bit different from a transit report because we're really going to dig deep into, because this is major change. So order an eclipse consultation, and we will take the time to delve deeply into how this particular eclipse is affecting you, okay, and how over the next 6 months, so that's going to take you into August, how this is going to impact you, okay, to the end of July, basically, and almost to August, how the changes you can make. So let's plot out what you can do to make the next 6 months where you take full advantage of the opportunity represented by this full moon total lunar eclipse in Leo. So that's what I have for you here at Healing Universe about the end of January 2019 eclipse. And I hope that you will subscribe to the channel, go to the website healinguniverse.com, sign up for updates, and make sure that you take advantage of all the services that are offered. And I thank you for listening. Thank you for giving this video a thumbs up. And I thank you for allowing me to serve. Many blessings to you. Bye.